Hello, you beautiful lot. It is day 23 of my long walk home, and I'm currently pitched in some gorgeous dunes on the John Muir Way. And the video content that I'm creating right now, I suppose, is a little bit preemptive because over the past 3 weeks I've had quite a bit of trouble with my NEMO OSMO Elite. And so I wanted to do a little bit of a tent review now because I am in the process of hopefully being able to send her back and get a refund. I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I have not liked this tent. There's a lot of good things about the design features that I will go through as we progress through the video. However, the material and the structure is what's let it down. So far, I've already had to bail on her on the West Highland Way when she flopped down on around 35-mile-per-hour whippy winds. My tent just collapsed in the wind. Fuck, that was scary. She should be able to survive. Most freestanding or semi-freestanding tents can handle at least 35 miles per hour in my own personal view, opinion and experience. Also, after 3 weeks, the bathtub has started to let in water. Look at the wet. That's where my thermos has been. I've mopped up everything here. Nothing's leaked. You can even see puddles of it just at the back here. And this is just dewy grass. I've not pitched on bogs, it's definitely not condensation. So I'm gonna go through the tent now. I'm gonna show you some of the bits that I like, some of the really cool design features, because honestly, a lot of thought has gone into this tent, and there are gonna be a lot of trails and weather conditions that I'm sure this tent is great for. But personally, in my opinion, I do not think she is suitable for UK 3 season. Maybe not even 2 season through hiking. Let's look into her now. So while I've got this beautiful view in the background, I thought I'd read you through a few things that NEMO say about the tent first of all. So it weighs 687 grams if you exclude the tent pegs that come with it and the bag. It is a 2-skin, so it's an outer fly with an inner mesh. Has 1 entrance at the front. They do say it is a 3-season tent. Apparently, this is the ultimate tent for extreme minimalists. Hornet Elite Osmo takes it to the next level with thoughtful updates and our new proprietary, probably said that wrong, Osmo fabric, delivering 4 times more lasting water repellency, so I'd hate to see what the bathtub in the original Hornet was like, and 3 times less stretch when wet. I will agree with that. It is quite good when it's condensationed. I haven't had her in heavy rain yet. Our new Osmo fabric is also made from 100% recycled yarns, free from any PFCs and PFAS, and it's also undyed, and I really like the efficacy that's gone into this. They've really tried to make quite a sustainable tent. Anyway, that's enough waffle on what Osmo say about the tent. Let's jump into this and I will show you my thoughts. Alrighty, so one of the things I really like about this design is the poles fold up really small and compact, and they actually fit really nicely in this stuff sack, which means I can fit the both in the one stuff sack on the side of my backpack. And this is something that I find actually quite difficult to find with the ultralight freestanding, semi-freestanding tent. So they've done well on compactness. Taking her out of the bag, you can see it forms this really nice Y frame. And another cool thing that they've actually done is curve the Y very slightly, but this actually allows a higher arch in the middle, which I appreciate because your girl likes to sit up inside a tent. And here is the Y frame. Now the inner has this mesh, which is actually really fine. I've accidentally pitched around ticks twice already on this trip, and none of the ticks have got through, which is amazing. They also have here the little clips for the Y frame to go in, so they slot in really nicely and really easily. The third thing I like about the inner is this, which I will show you in action in a minute. This clips onto the top of the Y frame and expands the tent that little more. So rather than having a proper cross pole, which weighs a little bit more, which makes it a little bit clunky and a little bit more time consuming to put up, this little bad boy here saves all of that. So this is a really cool design, and a lot of thought has gone into that. And this is a closer look at that expansion. It doesn't look like much, but it does give a lot of room. And then you actually have this as well, these cords at the front and the back that clip into the outer fly to give it even more space. And then the way it gets its shape is literally just from the way it gets its tension. And now it's time to put the outer fly on. You all know how these work. This is pretty much standard to how every other backpacking tent goes, except from these have a really nifty thing on the inside, and I'm going to show you now because these have these really cool little Velcro bits. Now these Velcro bits actually clip onto the poles around the outside, and these add that extra tautness and are supposed to keep it a little bit safer in the wind. However, I can tell you now that these last maybe 1 or 2 minutes. Once it's clipped on, in the slightest breeze more than 10 or 15 miles per hour, the Velcro comes undone. So while I appreciate the geniusness and the idea behind it, unfortunately it does little to keep its shape in British wind. So you see this little clip here, this is another really cool design feature to aid that space. This clips in at the bottom here, and then when you pull the back out, it creates loads more space in the inside. And it has the same attachment at the front too. It also has additional tie out points for guy ropes in the wind. Although, again, I personally don't think these do much. Because they've tried to cut weight by having it higher at the sides, the wind is literally scooping up underneath. So I don't know if I'm going to try and have a little adjustment to try and pull it down a bit more. But I am worried the tighter I make it, potentially the more likely it is to rip. Another cool feature, again, are these clips. I've not seen this on any tent before, but you literally loop over this button, and then, because I'm only doing it one-handed, I can't really do it, but this slides so you can actually tighten it. And just to show you what I mean, that's it tightened. And the same feature is at the door. As beautiful and as well thought out as the design is, unfortunately, she's just terrible in the wind. This thing will just, it just flaps because it's so lightweight. The material's quite arched in areas, which means the breeze just gets up under. So I was really hidden in my bag and was kind of quite cold and shivering from about 12 till 2 in the morning. When the winds died down, I was able to get back to sleep. But the winds weren't even that much. They were maybe 10, 12 miles per hour. Another problem is this. The way it clips up means that if it's raining a bit in the morning, it drips down into the bathtub. If it's not raining and there's condensation or dew on the tent, again, it drips down into the bathtub. So consistently, unless it's absolutely sunny, you need to keep drying this little pool here, because else you just get dripped on. It almost needs some flap or tie out point or a little bit of an adjustment to stop that from happening. The third thing is the bathtub. I've had this girl for 3 weeks, 3 trail weeks, okay? And I've not had her in terrible rain yet. I've not pitched on bog or anything like that, just grass or beachy dunes like I've got now. And every day for the past 3 days, consistent moisture has got through. To the point of 2 days ago, I had to mop dry my thermarest. This morning, my food bag was absolutely drenched from the moisture that had just come up from the grass. And we haven't had rain for 3 days. So it's literally just the dewy moisture of the morning. The bathtub underneath has already failed. It's actually absorbing moisture from the ground beneath it. It does have a 1200 hydrostatic head, so obviously it's not super great. I have a mountain warehouse with the same hydrostatic head that I literally let mould, and it still works. So yeah, not impressed. Anyway, my friend Ash over at Ash Outdoors sent me this. This is just some roofing felt, because I'm refusing to buy a NEMO specific ground sheet. I'm pissed off. That's gonna go as a base underneath my NEMO tonight. The ground sheet worked. Nothing horrible coming through. I haven't had her in strong rain yet, and I am petrified. If I have this girl in the rain with the way the bathtub is now, it's almost like a sponge and it's just absorbing any moisture from the ground beneath. It leaves a dry patch behind and the water's in my tent. If I get rain, I am really concerned about the level of flooding that is going to happen within the bathtub from the water that's going to come up from the ground below. I'm really concerned about her in the wind. Yes, she's designed so that you can pitch her in a certain direction so that she's safe from the wind, but in the UK, we get whippy winds. We get winds that can be northeasterly and southwesterly within 10 minutes. They change, they whip around, and sometimes you just cannot pitch for that direction. And therefore, I don't think this tent is as suitable for the British weather as the 3-season it is advertised as. Yes, technically with the bathtub issue, I could add a ground sheet being another 150 odd grams. However, you would think for paying 550 quid for a tent like this, you wouldn't need that. And in addition, one of the reasons you're paying so much for a tent like this is because you want to reduce the weight. So why would I add another 150 odd grams to this when that would make it heavier than my Lanshan and only 100 or so grams lighter than my MSR Hubba NX, which has survived 2 years of hiking and backpacking and UK national trails without an issue. I'm definitely concerned about using her in stronger weather, which is why I am doing my best to get a refund and send her back. So although I have not had her in heavy rain, I've had her in 35-mile-per-hour whippy winds and dewy ground. And that alone has made me believe that I would not recommend this as a UK 3-season tent. Obviously, this is just my opinion from my own personal experiences. You might have a different opinion. You might have the OSMO NEMO Elite and absolutely love it. You might have experiences with NEMO that are far different from me. This is just an opinion video. However, in my opinion, personally, I would not recommend her. As you can see right now, it's only like probably a 5-degree breeze. This bit inflates like a balloon. So this is where my head's supposed to go. You just a constant underdraft. She's not a tent that I would recommend, I'm afraid, which is quite sad because I had high hopes for this one. I worked 2 jobs over the Christmas period, mate, for 4 months, November to February. I worked 2 jobs to save up for this lass. Absolutely gutted.